So Daniel and Lisa, welcome. You had asked what you'd like to be coached on. Do you recommend door knocking or cold calling?
Right. Which one is more effective, or should I do both?
Um, okay, so what do you want to do?
I want to do what's much like I feel that door knocking is more effective because I'm already seeing them in person, whereas cold calling is just calling a bunch of numbers and people are gonna, hang up, but then I know I can get more calls in
Yeah.
versus
Okay,
where I
why
just go.
why do you want to do either one of them? So if you
Uh,
door knocking, why do you want to do that?
because I feel like that's the best way to bring in clients, leads.
Okay. So then that's the one I would do if that's what you'd like to try. So here's the thing about lead generation. You have to be invested, like you have to enjoy the thing that you're doing. So I will tell you from my perspective, I've never door knocked and I've never cold called in my entire business because
Well,
that's not my jam. I don't want to go knock on people's random doors. Now, that being said, if you are a for sale by owner and you are raising your hand and saying, hey, I'm trying to sell my house, then that is a cold call. And I don't call that a cold call because that's someone who's already raising their hand who says, I want to sell my house. So there's purpose in me calling them. And then there's preparation that I do before I call them so that it's not just a random quote unquote like cold call. Does that make sense?
so you're basically saying that you would call for sale by owners.
That's what I would do because here's the problem I have with door knocking and cold calling. Okay. And why I haven't done it. Because I want to sell crap faster. Like that's my goal. I don't know about you, but I would rather not waste my time. So if we are door knocking, we are hoping and have zero control over whether or not the one person that we knocked on their door is going to be interested in selling. Now, is it a possibility that they would be? Yes, there is still that possibility. That's why people do it. But from my perspective, I want to get to the goal faster. So do I want to knock on 100 doors to maybe find one? No, that's not the greatest use of my time. The greatest use of my time would be to find 10 for sale by owners because they want to sell their house. So now I'm already narrowing down the pool. Now, out of those 10 people, they have to just connect with me, right? I have to connect with them. We have to have some sort of connection, bond. So I will call the 10 for sale by owners because I am more likely to get a conversion off of that. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and where do you get your for sale by owner list? I didn't listen to um, all of your sessions yet.
Yeah, that's okay. So the for sale by owner, I just look on Zillow or fsbo.com. I don't pay for a list. So my favorite for sale by owners are when I'm driving around town, headed to the grocery store or taking kids places, and I see a sign in a yard. I'm like, honey, pull over. And then I'll take a picture of the sign and I'll take a picture of the house and I'll write down the address. And then I'll grab my RPR app, if you're familiar with that one. RPR. I'll grab the RPR app and I write then we'll just throw in the address and look it up because then at that point I can see what is this house, how big is it, how big is the lot, and who owns it. So that's what I do. So I love just seeing signs because here's the thing, most of the time signs in a yard, they aren't always online. It's generally our older population. It's generally people who don't know to put it on Zillow, but they're like, I can sell my house by myself, or I need to save money, or for whatever reason that they think that they should for sale by owner. They're going to throw the sign in the yard and hope that somebody sees it passing by. So they're less likely to sell their house, which means they're more likely to list with me because they're struggling. That's a great for sale by owner. So anytime I'm out showing houses or just driving anywhere, my eyeballs are always looking for sale by owner signs. Always. Or look on Zillow. Zillow now has two separate tabs. you have your like listed tabs, and then you have your owner tab. So you can just go in and look at for sale by owners in there. Now I'm going to give you one tip. Okay. Before you call a for sale by owner, and I do have a whole training on this, but before you call a for sale by owner, you can't, the reason why people don't have success with them is because they call them and they say, hey, I'm an agent. And essentially, can I help you list your house? Like, are you interested in listing with an agent? Okay. You have given them no cause or reason to want to list with you. So the way that I approach it for sale by owner is with value. Okay, here's this person. They want to sell their house. What's most likely to be going on? Well, let's take a look at their listing if they're on Zillow. What does it look like? How do their pictures look? How's their description? What's their price look like? Look up all the data on the house, start doing some comparables, and find out, are they listed high? Are they listed low? Like what's their positioning? And then once you know their positioning, and literally that will take you maybe like 10 to 15 minutes. Okay. I'm not saying do a full CMA and draw, don't get complicated. All we're going to do is we're going to get the positioning of what that house is at right now. Then you make the phone call. Hi, this is Daniel from wherever. You're calling to see what you have for sale, how much you're asking for it, get a little bit of information, ask them how their experience has been so far. How's it been going for you? The market's a little tough right now. How are the showings? And say, oh, we're not getting any showings. Or yes, we are getting a lot of showings. Oh, great. Like, what's your feedback that you're getting off of your showing? Have a conversation with them. They don't have anyone else to talk to about this, especially a professional. Then you can start to create some relationship and say, I looked at your listing and I had some information I could provide to you if you're interested. And then you can be able to give them some information. And then here's the thing. We don't get to control the outcome. We just get to show up and perform our best. And then at that point, that person can decide, no, I'm not interested. And at that point you go, great. Well, if you need something, I'm here. Here's my phone number. Here's my email, whatever. Give me a call. Then they have the opportunity to call you. Right? When crap goes sideways and they can't get their house sold, you're going to be the first call because you provide the most value. So that package is so much different than randomly knocking on somebody's door and saying, I don't know, like, are you interested in selling your house? We don't have enough houses in the market right now. There's no relationship there. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that helps. Would you say that that's what you did in the beginning of your business before? I mean, I know you do everything through SOI right now, past
Yeah.
clients.
My first 3 listings were for sale by owners.
The first thing you did was for sale by owners, you said?
My very first 3 listings. I mean, there's lots of things you can do, but yes, my very first 3 listings were for sale by owners.
And just from your experience, how many, like just in terms of statistics, how many did you call in order to get a listing?
3.
Wow, that's pretty good.
I called 3. And I would literally pull over, and I had nothing to do. I had no money. I couldn't pay for advertising. So I literally would drive around. I would take my iPad in my car with me because I didn't even have money to buy a laptop. So I just had an iPad. And I would drive around and I would pull over. I would see the for sale by owner and I would sit out in front of the house and I would look it up. And I would pull comps sitting in my car on my iPad. So by the time, and then I would call the person right then. And all three times, they were home. So I was like, yeah, I was just driving by. I'm just outside the house. I noticed what you have. I was wondering, can I take a look at it? Like, what are you asking? And you can go approach it, not lying, but as like, hey, what happens if I have a client that is in that price range and this is a phenomenal match for them? Right. So I want to know, we love to know you have this thing for sale. It's not listed on the MLS. So I really don't have all the data. So could we take a look at it and see what you've got? And then you can start to open up and meet them face to face with purpose and have a real conversation with them. And I will tell you this is the interesting thing though. My first 3 for sale by owners, I actually only sold 1 of them. So the other 2 I didn't sell. I ended up losing the listings eventually. I don't even remember. It's been so long. I don't even remember how long I had those listing contracts for. But what it taught me was, number one, getting my sign in the ground was so important, because when I had my sign in the ground, I received more phone calls, because I'd have the drive-bys and the phone calls off the drive-bys. You have the opportunities to do open houses. So then you have more buyers that come in. That is, to me, the number one lead generator is having a sign in the ground. So if the way for me to get a sign in the ground is to call for sale by owner, that's what I would do. And then that started to help my business to grow. What are your thoughts, Daniel? Are you want to do that? You're like, no, that's not my jam. Like, what are you thinking?
I mean, that's basically for me the same thing as like quote unquote cold calling or door knocking in a sense. So I'm willing to do that.
Yeah, with a purpose.
Right. To
Yeah.
help, to bring value for sure.
Yes, to bring value. Yeah, cold calling and just random door knocking and random cold calling don't really bring a lot of value. Any value.
And what about Lisa? What about social media? How do you see that in comparison to for sale by owners in terms of lead gen?
Um, how does it work for social media for lead gen? It is something that you also can't control. So it's important for people to know what you do for a job. And somebody could say something different, but this is what I keep seeing with agents. We can put so much time and effort into our social media. Like, let me give you a really great example. There's one gal, she's got 40,000 followers. She looks like she's hot crap on Instagram. If you look up her sales, she sells 12 houses a year. But she puts a lot of time and effort into social media, but she isn't getting the sales. So followers do not equal money, right? Do not equal sales. So social media is important as long as you show up providing value. And people just need to know what you do for a job. So they need to get to know you, and they need to know, what do you do for a job? Because then when they do have a question, you will come to mind. But if we sit home hoping or waiting for that to happen, that's where we start to have problems, is where we're spending so much time on social media. Or I see agents do this. They spend so much time on social media, but then it's not converting into sales. And then they're frustrated and not understanding why. So it is a method, but it's not the only method.
So, Lisa, you're saying that the for sale by owners, let's say I call like 5 to 10, I should be able to get one, maybe two listings off of that. Let's just say realistically. So you're saying it's that easy. Is that right?
Yeah, it's that easy if you want it to be that easy.
Okay. I'll
And
give that a
yeah, give it a try and come back and tell us, like, how did that go? And here's the thing too, when people get rejected, quote unquote rejected, right, from like a for sale by owner, they think that there's something wrong with that. And it just means they didn't need your help. So even if you had to call 20, even if you had to find all of them, and one person said, yes, I do want help, that's a win. Like, that's a win, right? It's a win. So it sounds like you're a numbers person, Daniel.
right.
You're like, okay, if I do 100 of this thing, will 10 pan out? Is that right?
Correct.
Yeah. So track your numbers. I definitely wouldn't go into it saying, well, here's the thought error that we have, is that we go into it and we say, okay, I'm going to call 5 for sale by owners. And then if I don't convert any of them, that means it doesn't work. That's what we make it mean. Yeah. So this is my sister Heidi. She just put in the chat, her first 2 listings were also from for sale by owner calls. And Heidi, that was 100%, right? I think she called 2 and she got 2. I don't think she called 2 and she got 2. Was it the luck of the draw? Are we really good at our job? You know what? I didn't know what the heck I was doing when I started, but I did know what sells a house, what the market would get for a house, and how I would market it and how I could help this person. And I think one of the reasons why And I think for Heidi as well. But one of the reasons why we were so high in converting for sale by owners, I right now will not call one because I don't want more business. That's how highly converting I can convert it for sale by owner, because we get to know them and we offer value. And if it's good for them, then great. If it's not good for them, then that's okay. Like if they have a great house that's going to sell by itself and they don't need us and they don't need protection and they know what they're doing, I'm not their person. Right? It's just the attitude that we go in with. So definitely track your numbers, because numbers do tell you something. Do I need to tweak something? Am I good at like pitching for sale by owners? Maybe I'm not good. If I called 10 and I have 0 results, I need to analyze the results that I'm getting and do something differently. Get a little bit of help from a coach, right? And do something different. What are you thinking, Daniel?
Yeah, I think, well, I want to give it a shot. And so I'm guessing your coaching members, your clients, they have, those who've done for sale by owners, you would say all of them, if not most of them, have great success from that, right?
I haven't polled them. I'll have to poll them and ask. Yeah, if they like to do for sale by owners. Some people don't like it, and I have some people who do paid. I do have some people who do just the free lead sources that are out there, referral based. A lot, I've got people who like to work on their sphere of influence. It just depends. It's different for everybody. But Daniel, tell me why, like, where have you had business from in the past?
Let's see. I had online leads through my brokerage. Right now it's just word of mouth.
Okay.
Um, and then I started to do social media, a little bit of YouTube right now.
Okay.
And I've door knocked before. I've cold called before, but not long. But I did door knock. I never followed up with them, and that's probably kind of where I'm like regretting. And so now I'm at a point where um, I'm getting back to door knocking, but the weather out here is like 105 degrees, so
Yeah.
I'm waiting for it to cool down.
Yeah. It has to be fun, and you have to enjoy it, or you won't do it. Or you'll do it, but you won't follow up with the person, so you essentially half did it. And then you don't get to the goal. Right. So even if I were to call it for sale by owner, if I called half-heartedly, unprepared, and didn't plan to do any follow-up, or just didn't do any follow-up, you're going to be less successful. You're like more likely to be less successful. So if you really are like, nope, I love this and I want to go help people, it changes the way that we view it, but it also changes the way that we show up. And they're not just a number at that point. So then they're, a 70-year-old lady who needs help, and we don't want other agents to take advantage of her because she's trying to sell her house by herself. Or
that was my first sale by owner. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like, if I don't help this person, someone else is going to come and they're really going to take advantage of her. So I'm going to be here to protect her. And so that's the thought, right? That's the thought that we go in with. And that's kind of the attitude that we adopt, depending on the person. For that specific person, that's what that attitude was, right? Like, I've got to help this person. When you go in with, I've got to help this person, we don't become salesy. We become instruments to be able to help someone else. The byproduct of what we're doing is a really great paycheck. Always. That's the byproduct. So it's just where we decide to put our focus. Tell me what, Daniel, so you're trying to increase. So tell me your numbers, guy. So what have you sold so far this year? And what's your goal?
So in terms of sold, as in like listings you're talking about?
Just total units. How many units have you sold this year? Listings, buyers, the whole thing.
This year, it's like I'm on track for one a month.
Okay.
But I wanted to get up to at least a few a month.
Okay. And what has worked so far?
Nothing big. It's all those one per month is, I'd say two of them were from social media, and then the rest were from word of mouth. So nothing like nothing where I can come to a point where I'm like stable in terms of consistency.
How long have you been in business?
3 years. This is my 4th year now.
And what's your experience been?
Say again?
What's been your experience over the last 3 years? Like how many units have you sold the last 3 years?
Total like 30 plus.
Okay.
Last year was a tough year, but the second year was pretty good because I had a lot of online leads through my brokerage, but that's done. That's gone.
Okay. Okay. So how are you harnessing your past clients?
I haven't followed up with them. I just recently learned through you about the gifts that you give out.
Mm-hmm. About the follow-up plan?
Yeah, the follow-up plan. So I'm starting that soon.
So you have 30 people who love you, who we would like to market to, right? To stay in touch with, because that's going to generate leads. So here's the thing about leads. There's not going to be one magical way. There's not one source of business, not one magical way at all. So what we do is, if you'd like to increase your business, if you want to really compound what you have going on, you have to add more avenues into that business. That's what we're looking at. So if you go to, like on my website, I have the 15 lead sources, top 15 lead sources. And I go through all the different lead source options. Now they're not every single one of them. I have a list of 76 lead sources that you could be able to do. But for the top 15 that I kind of went through, like if you start to implement multiple lead sources, that's where we start to compound our business. What we don't want to do, and this is kind of, because you're on here, I can draw my terrible funnel, right? But really, like, we have to have all these things. So this might be like your first sale by owners, your expired, your follow-up with your past clients. Word of mouth, we can't control, right? But we can control how we follow up and stay in touch with our past clients. So all these people will filter down to making a paycheck. So if we'd like to compound our business, we have to compound the avenues from which we're getting our business. So I would start to add in. So if this is your goal, I would definitely challenge you, Daniel. Like, if you want to prepare and call some for sale by owners, that's what I would do. And do that this week. And you're going to run out of for sale by owners eventually, because there's only so many of them. Or you're going to be tired and you want to add something else in, whatever. But then add another avenue on top of that. And then another avenue on top of that. And that's how we start to compound the business. To get to that 3, you can totally get to 3 a month. 3, 4, 5 a month, no problem. Does that help answer your questions today?
Thanks, Lisa. I appreciate it. I'm just going to keep listening because my baby is crazy on me.
That's awesome. Nope, we love babies. Okay. Okay, Cassandra just jumped on. Let's see. We got Maria, we got Cassandra. Let me see really quick. So Maria just wants to listen. Heidi, Jenny. Okay, so let's go Cassandra. Cassandra wants to revive her business. Hello, Cassandra. Would you like to unmute? And I'd love to see your face if you want to show your face. But if you're in your pajamas, I get it. That's all right.
No, I'm not in my pajamas.
Oh, look at you go. You are dressed and ready for the day.
In the office. How you doing, Lisa?
I am good. I am good. Okay, tell me what you got.
So what I was looking to do is really, I've just gotten a little bit off track in generating my business, being consistent. I just need some direction in how to just get myself back started, generating my leads and staying on top of my business.
Okay. Why are you off track? Why are you telling yourself that?
Life has happened.
Okay.
So lots of things, some good things, some not so good things have happened, and it has taken a lot of my attention and time away from my business.
Okay. So where are you off track? What does that mean?
getting my rhythm back with what I would need to do on a daily basis. Okay. You know, having my schedule, you know, what I need to do, where I need to start, creating my systems and just things like that. I really just lost focus because of so many things.
Okay. Did you lose your systems or did you just stop implementing them?
Stop.
Okay. So what's prohibiting you? Like what's stopping you from restarting?
Probably me.
Why?
I really don't have an answer for that one, but I think I'm holding my own self back, Lisa. Okay. And I can't figure out what is the reason I'm holding myself back.
Yeah, let's answer that question. What is the reason you're holding yourself back? Your brain just offered you a really good question.
It did, didn't it?
It did. It did. and you have the answer.
I don't know. Maybe a little bit of fear.
Okay. Fear of
that
what?
Might be some of it. A fear of success.
Oh, we're fearful of success.
I'll be honest.
Why are we fearful of success?
I don't know. I mean, once I'll get I've noticed kind of a pattern in my life. I'll get to a certain point, it's going well, and it's like, is this real? Is this the path am I supposed to be here? Is this supposed to be going on? And probably freeze a bit and end up stalemate.
Okay, so when it's going well, you're like, what the H is going on and why is it going well? Why do we think that?
I don't know. I just think it's a fear of success, and I'm not sure why I am that way. I can encourage anybody else to do it, Lisa.
Yeah.
But then when you come down to yourself, sometimes it just holds you back. Okay. I'm just being honest.
So no, that's good. We love honesty because we can't make progress without it. So let's run this through a thought model. Okay. Have you been in a class when I've done a thought model before?
No.
Okay. We're going to thought model you. So you're feeling a fear of success. You're stopping yourself from moving, like being better. Right. Okay. So that fear, like what's the actual feeling that you're having? Let's say give me an example of when you've got to a point and then you like put the brakes on because of that fear. Do you have an example you can give me? Specific example?
No, I can't think of a specific example.
Tell me that feeling.
Oh, the feeling.
Yeah, go ahead and tell me the feeling. It's usually pretty easy for us to get in touch with our feelings, not always like the thought that we're having that's creating those feelings. So what's the feeling that you have when you are starting to become successful?
Anxious.
It's what? Anxious.
Anxious.
Okay, so that's our feeling. Okay, and this is you're becoming anxious, and this is when you're selling a certain number of houses, you've made a certain amount of money. Tell me when you're feeling anxious.
I made a certain amount of money.
Okay, what's that number?
In total or just
whatever is starting to create that anxiousness. Like if you're gonna know it, right? If you're approaching a certain amount and you're like, holy crap balls, what is that?
When I'm approaching that 6-figure mark.
6 figures. Okay, so when you're at 100,000 or approaching. Approaching. Oh, this is gonna be fun. Okay, so you're approaching $100,000, and what are you thinking about that?
What am I doing? How did I get here? Because sometimes I don't even realize I've gotten to that point. It's when I actually see it, that's when the anxiety came. When I see it. But as I'm going through it, I don't realize it. It's when I actually see it, it like hits me and I'm like, oh boy.
So what's scary about 100,000?
I don't know, because heck, that's a great place to be. So
Yeah, but that's not the thought. That's a great place to be, is not what's creating anxiousness. So there's something about your $100,000 mark that you're thinking about $100,000 that you've created. There, you got a story in there somewhere. What's your story about $100,000?
I don't know, Lisa. I've never done this before, so I really don't know what the story is.
Okay, so I'm gonna like just kind of prompt you just a little bit, and we'll see.
Okay.
Okay, so if you were approaching $100,000 and it's creating anxiousness, is there anywhere, like we have some people sometimes, you're not, you can't make that much money, you're not worth that much money, or sometimes like, how do I keep this going? And that,
I think it's more, how do I keep this going?
okay, how do I keep this going? So when you're approaching $100,000, you're thinking, how did I, because you said, how did I get here? Right? Okay, so how did I get here? Okay, how did you get there?
I'm just doing what I was doing, talking with my clients, my sphere, generating business. That's on a day-to-day. I wasn't paying attention to specifically targeting certain things. It was just how I am on a day-to-day basis, talking to people, asking for business, friends referring business, creating the relationships. That's how I was just operating. It was just coming.
So what's the problem with that?
Nothing.
But
I don't think there's a problem with that part of it. I think for me, it's just when I have to actually sit down and focus on it, that's when I get stuck. But when I'm just doing it, because it's coming, it's conversations, it's friends, it's referral, it feels natural. But then when I have to plot it and start thinking, that's when I think I end up holding myself back because I begin to overthink it.
okay, so that's where our anxiousness is coming in. You're overthinking your $100,000. So how did I get here is really the thought. So let me just explain here, since you haven't done the thought model with this before, and for those that are listening on the replay. So you're approaching your $100,000 is just a neutral circumstance. Okay, it's just a thing that's happening. It's completely neutral. We can all agree, if we looked at your bank account or if we looked at your stats, that you were approaching or reaching $100,000. Okay, completely neutral. But we give meaning to that by the thoughts that we have about it. So right now, you're choosing to think, how did I get here?
Okay.
Okay. And when you think, how did I get here? That's creating anxiousness for you. So our thoughts is what generate our feelings. But here's the interesting part. Our feelings, these are drive our actions. So what are you doing? I think you said you're freezing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you're freezing. So that's generating your action of just freezing with a Z. E. Can I spell today? So, okay, so you're freezing. What else are you doing or not doing when you feel anxious?
That's pretty much it. I freeze, overanalyze it, and what's that, analysis paralysis, and end up not again moving because I'm overthinking it.
Okay. Okay. So you're freezing, you're overanalyzing, overthinking. Okay. So when we are freezing, overanalyzing, overthinking, we're not getting the results that we're desiring, correct? Yeah.
Nope.
We're not getting the results we desire. So really the results that we're getting is we are not getting to the money that we want, the number that we want. Right?
Right.
Because here's the thing. Our results are directly tied to the thought that we're having. Okay. So if we're thinking, how did I get here? Like And that's creating that anxiousness in us. We're not going to perform the way that we need to keep getting to where we're going. That's causing the freezing. That's causing the overanalyzing. That's causing the overthinking. And then we're not going to get there. If we think, how did I get there? Oh my gosh, we're not going to continue to get there. Okay. So it's interesting because you said, how do I revive my business? Your business is still going. You're still doing business?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you're still doing business. So how do we revive it? So when people come and ask me that, we had a lot of questions that came in this week, and they're all about like lead gen and how do I get more business, and I want to find more business and stuff. So what we tend to do is people come to a coach and they ask the coach, okay, how do I go find more lead sources? How do I increase my business? Right? That is actions. People will go to the action line and say, okay, well, I just need to cold call more people. I just need to go door knock more. I just need to call more for sale by owners. I just need to pay more Zillow. I just need to do all these things. But what I want to offer to you is, this is what we have to change. How did I get here is not giving you the result that you want. Okay. So when you're approaching $100,000, your brain's telling you there's a problem. Like you got your brain going a little wild at the moment. And for some reason, $100,000 is a scary number for you. Why is that a scary number for you? Why is that different? It's neutral. It's completely, it's no different than 125 or 110 or 100 or 500. It's just a number. Why is that number creating that for you?
I guess in doing this on my own versus having made that in corporate America, which was different, having done this on my own is what it is. What's the scary part?
Okay. So you're telling yourself you're doing this on your own. What's the problem? Why is that a problem? Because you're telling
That's
yourself
even better.
Yeah,
That's even better that you're doing it on your own.
Yeah. So you're telling yourself you're doing it on your own, but you're telling yourself that's a bad thing.
Okay.
So this can come from different places. I'm doing this on my own. Like Heidi just said, I'm doing this on my own could be like a heck yeah, I'm doing this on my own. Move out of my way. I'm amazing. Or that can come from a place of like more insecurity or doubt or fear, which is, oh my gosh, I'm doing this on my own. And if I screw up, like it's all on me. If I don't find business, I'm not making the money.
That's where it's coming from.
That's where it's coming from.
That's where it's coming from.
Your thought of I'm doing, so now it really is, your thought model more is you're approaching the 100K, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you're thinking, I'm doing this on my own. And I'm doing this on my own is what's creating your anxiety. Yeah. So it's not necessarily that the number, it's the holy crap.
I'm doing this on my own.
I'm doing this on my own. Okay. So so you can take the same thought. This is a thought, right? So this is our circumstance. We're not changing our numbers. Your number completely neutral, right?
Right.
Okay. But the thought of I'm doing this on my own and I'm amazing. Right? We need to change, but it has to be a believable thought. So what else could you think about this thing? Like, because we're not changing the fact that we're making the money.
Right.
We want to change the way that we're feeling about us making the money so that we show up as an amazing, awesome, excited, happy agent that continues to be successful. Okay. So what is a believable thought for you? What would you like to think about your $100,000 plus?
Well, I did it.
Yeah.
I did it.
Dang it, I did it.
I mean, it's just that simple. I am amazing.
You are amazing. I'm amazing. This is when we talk about our internal dialogue. It's just the thoughts. Now, here's the thing. It's not wrong. There's no like right and wrong, but your reactive part of your brain, the natural reactive part of your brain, always likes to look for problems. We're always looking for problems, right? So you're thinking that this $100,000, when you're saying, I'm doing this on my own, you're thinking that's a problem. That's why I was asking you, what's the problem?
Mm-hmm.
Because it's not a problem. Okay. So when you get in this space, in this headspace, let me give you a couple tools. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So if you start to feel that feeling again, I want you to ask yourself, is this a problem?
Okay.
And then answer your own question. Why is this a problem?
Okay.
And then take it one step further, like we just did. What else could be true? I'm doing this on my own. Is this a problem? Right? Why is that a problem? Well, and you're going to list all the reasons why it's a problem. Okay. And you're going to get that out of your head. And then you're going to ask yourself, what else could be true? Well, what else could be true is I'm doing this on my own. I did it and I'm amazing. What kind of feeling does that statement or thought generate for you? So tell us, what kind of feeling does that generate for you?
Joy, excitement.
Excitement. How do you show up for work when you're excited? What actions do you take each day?
When I'm excited?
Yeah, when you show up, when you're excited, when you're like, I am amazing, and you show up excited, what do you do each day at work?
I'm more talkative. I'm reaching out to more people. I'm having more fruitful conversations.
Okay. Fruitful. Because you feel so much better, right?
Mm-hmm.
Feel so much better. Okay. So your result, like you are doing it. 100K plus. You're not going to stop. You cannot stop that train. This doesn't change. The thought that you have about it changes. So look at the difference. I want you to feel the difference between this model, okay, which is your $100,000, you're approaching it. You're thinking, I'm doing this on my own. I did it. I'm amazing, which causes you to feel excited. And when you feel excited, you're more talkative, you're more engaged, you have more fruitful conversations. And your result is that you're doing it. You're going to make 100K plus, right? You can't stop the train. Okay. There's nothing to revive because no one died, right? Okay. As opposed to when we're approaching $100,000, we're thinking, how did I get here? Which causes the anxiousness, which causes us to freeze, overanalyze, overthink. And our result is we're not going to continue to make progress. We're not making more money.
Okay.
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 Does that help?
It does.
Yeah. How do you feel now?
Excited.
Great. Amazing.
Wow. Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Lisa. Wow.
Thanks for coming to.
Absolutely. This has been the highlight of my day.
That's what we're shooting for. I'm here every week, people. Here every week. Okay, let's see. We just had one other person hop on. Let's see if, Maria just came back to listen. Okay, does anybody else have anything they'd like to be coached on before I let you go for today?
So, Lisa, do you have this kind of training or questions and answers every week for your members?
I do. So every week in my academy, so if you go to myagentleader.com and click on the Agent Leader Academy, Road to 100K plus, I do coaching every single week with my agents. And they also have the opportunity, if they've got a specific situation that's come up and they need to get a hold of me, they actually can grab 20-minute sessions with me during the week. So that's something that I offer to them. In addition to all of the recorded trainings and the curriculum and everything that I provide to give you the tools to be able to go make more money, build your business. So you get tools and mindset coaching in the academy. So yes, good question. So if you're interested, right now, this is going to be changing in September, or actually by October 1st, but right now, the Academy is a lifetime access membership. So if you join the Academy, once you have paid the Academy fee, so it's either $3,000 or you can do $279 a month for 12 months. Once you've paid that, you are in for life. So you get coaching every single week. You have access to all the tools, the trainings, discounts for conference, all the good stuff for life. So starting October 1st, it will not be for life anymore. So now's a great time to get signed up. Awesome. Okay. All right, you guys are amazing. Thanks for coming to share and being willing to ask the questions, especially when we have harder questions, like Cassandra said, that are more like mindset too. It's not just a tactical thing. Sometimes we're afraid to ask those questions and figure out why we're stuck. So we are not stuck, and you guys are all amazing. So thanks for coming to Ask a Coach, and I'll see you next time.
Thanks, Lisa.
Awesome. Bye, guys.
Bye.